So you just recently got an Xbox Series X or Series S and decided to put it in your living room, your media room, bedroom. Regardless, you put it up and you don't want to control it with the regular controller. You want to have a media remote. But there's not a whole lot of new media remotes out on the market. So you take a look at the Talon PDP and you're like, does this thing work? Hi everyone, I'm Robert, and thanks for checking out Rob Unwraps. Today we're going to take a look at that PDP Talon Media Remote and answer the question, does this work on the Xbox Series X or S? One of the first things to notice when you go to cut this open is that there are safety seals on the bottom of the package. There is one in each corner. There's two at the top too, but we're not going to cut those since we don't need them to open the box up. Now, if you're anything like me, you probably just recently watched Season 3 of Cobra Kai. And for some reason, every time I look at this Xbox Talon Media Remote controller, I can't help but think of Eagle Fang. Even though I know a Talon isn't an Eagle Fang, I just keep visualizing that in my head. Go ahead and get the remote out of the box, and we notice that there are two AAA batteries by some off-brand that I've never heard of before, so good luck with these! We have a quick start guide that's in a couple different languages for you, so if you're up in Canada and you're speaking French, it's going to work for you just fine. It also has Spanish. Nice little touch, the remote's wrapped in an extra piece of plastic here to help protect it from the packaging. And as soon as that came out, I noticed that there is a texture on the remote that's nice and has a soft touch to it, so it's not just some hard sterile plastic. You can zoom up and kind of see the texture on there. Now, in order to get those batteries in there, you just softly push down on the back plate and it'll shift, and then you can pull it apart and put the batteries in. Now, one of the things I noticed is that the lights on the remote came on there and then they turned themselves auto off. So I decided to go ahead and show it to everyone, picked it up, got the lights to come on, and then as soon as you stop moving, they really shut themselves off. That's why they turned off in the hand when I wasn't actually using them. I went ahead and put this in here because if you look at the quick start guide, it tells you to set up your Talon Media Remote with the Xbox One console, go to the Xbox One console settings, TV and One Guide, device control. So that was for the Xbox One. However, in the new user interface, there is no longer a TV and One Guide. You'll just go to General, TV, and Display Options. And from there, you can set it up. However, while I was doing this, I happened to notice that my remote was working on the Xbox, so I really wasn't required for me to do anything else. Have you ever had one of those really great ideas where you storyboard something out and you're like, man, that's gonna be funny. People will enjoy this. And then you actually go to film it and something happens and it doesn't quite turn out like you'd hoped it would? Well, this is one of those times. Take a look at this. So in this scene, I thought it'd be funny if I was laying on the couch and I grabbed my controller and I was like, oh man, look how awkward this is for me to have to use two hands to go ahead and use my Xbox controller to control my movie. So I'm going to show everybody how nice it is to be lazy if I just use one hand with the media remote. So I grab the remote and I go to control it and nothing happens. And at this point I'm like, well, it was just working in the studio when I had my Xbox One hooked up to the capture card. So let's go figure out why this isn't working. And then I went over to the side and it was working just fine. And it was at this point I realized that it was going to most likely be a line of sight issue. As I started to spin around, yep, it's working, now it's not working. So that's what we ran into. That about does it for this one, folks. Thanks for stopping by. As you can see, the Talon PDP remote does work. However, there are some issues that you can run into. Particularly if you, like me, put your Xbox behind your television, you're gonna run into line of sight issues. However, if you have it in a media center or something like that, where you have a good wide angle that you can reach it at, this remote will work just fine. It appears to be constructed with high quality materials. It has a nice finish to it. It feels comfortable in your hands. The auto dimming LED light that auto turns on when you touch it. Those are all nice finishes. Thanks for stopping by, and remember that if you got value or enjoyment from this video, make sure you hit that like button, and if you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe. Thanks, and see you next time. And that earlier problem about the line of sight issue, that wasn't the only thing I ran into. When I went to go and demonstrate this for everybody, I had to install the Blu-ray player because I hadn't used it yet, but I wanted to show it off for everybody on this remote demonstration. If it's not one thing, it's another, right?